This is the Lifestyle Business Owner Show, where we talk about the street smarts of small business. Your hosts are Aaron and Mayumi Moeller, owners of 8 companies that run without them, and founders of the LBO Academy. It's your turn to discover how you can own a business that runs without you. Now, here's Aaron and Mayumi.
What's going on, everyone? You're listening to Aaron Moeller with the Lifestyle Business Owner Show, where we talk about the street smarts of small business. If you can't listen to this entire show, you can always go to lboradio.com. That's lboradio.com and get this episode and any other previous episode we put up. Today, our guest is John Warrillow. He's the best-selling author of Built to Sell, Creating a Business That Can Thrive Without You. Both Inc. and Fortune Magazine recognize Built to Sell as one of their top 10 business books for business owners. In addition to the book, John developed a consulting program called the Value Builder System that teaches business owners how to dramatically increase the value of their business when it's time to sell. This is going to be some good stuff, you guys. It's kind of dear to our heart because it kind of is in alignment with the whole lifestyle business owner and everything about having a business that runs without you. We also have my co-host, Mayumi Moeller. She's not only my business partner, but also my partner in life. She's an amazing woman, a true hustler, and if I didn't have her by my side, I would never have the success I do. Mayumi, say hi and
Well,
welcome,
hello,
John.
everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. John, thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, glad to be here.
Yeah, and I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, creating a business that can thrive without you, I mean, that's basically in line with what we do. And I'm excited to get started with telling us about what you do, man.
Well, first off, where are you from? Where are you from, John?
I'm from Toronto, where it's actually a beautiful day here today, but it's cold half the time. So it's a place where we can,
so you would think Seattle's nice then.
Yeah.
Seattle's gorgeous relative to Toronto.
I love it.
Yeah.
So to answer Mayumi's question regarding what is this business value builder system?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we help entrepreneurs improve the value of their company. We've been able to statistically link it to improvements to 2x the value of a company. So typical business owner, when they start with us, they get offers at 3.5 times pre-tax profit. For those of our graduates who get a 90 plus on their value builder score, which is the way we measure how people are doing, those businesses are getting 7.1 times pre-tax profit, so more than twice. That. So yeah, it's a system that we take business owners through. There are 12 unique steps, and it's all about improving the value of their company. And it's funny, your alignment with your message is very, very clear, because the kind of key idea in building value into a company is making sure it will run without you. That's sort of the main premise of everything that we do.
No, it's awesome. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say all 12 steps basically touch that in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, so wait, I want to say something because I know that we've been reading your book. It's a fantastic book, and I know that it's a storytelling book, which makes it really easy for readers to get involved and really identify with the characters. So, I want to know, how did you come up with this? Give me the foundation of how you started this. For people who haven't read the book, go out and get Built to Sell. It's a great book, but how did you come up with the story, and then how did your system come to fruition here and alive? Was there anything that triggered it?
Yeah, sure. I've personally been involved in 4 different startups that I've exited, and basically learned some things about the way buyers interpret businesses and the way they view companies. And so I've owned a graphic design marketing agency, which was the main business of the guy Alex Stapleton in the book. It's so there's an autobiographical sort of element to it in that regard. But essentially, it's an amalgam of my own personal experiences having built in a lot of businesses. What we've done, though, is really, as I mentioned earlier, been able to statistically, validate what we do works. So we've now had 34,000 business owners we've worked with. So
wow. Nice.
Across that number of business owners, we've been able to start to do some statistics. So the one I shared with you earlier about 2x the value is a sort of sexy number to throw out. One of the other numbers that's pretty cool is that those people that get a value builder score of 90 or greater are 3 times more likely to receive an offer for their business than the average performing business. So you're more likely to get an unsolicited offer as well. You'll be impressed with that offer if you work on these things. And again, it all comes down to how do you structure your company so that it can thrive and succeed without you personally doing all.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to tell you, I've been reading your book. It's actually really easy to read. I went through it pretty fast. I haven't completely got to the end, but I'm pretty much there. And so I was like, I'm gonna take his business value score system, right? And I wanted to see where I was at on one of my companies. And I don't know if I need to be depressed or what, but I mean, my score was only 70.
Hey, that's
Am I a candidate for you?
Yeah, that's 11 points higher than average. The average person starting with us is 59, so you're already
you're doing
way ahead of the
good.
game.
All right, cool.
Good job.
Very cool, very cool. So, when somebody takes this, and that's what I was going to say is you have this really cool platform on your website there that asks like several questions so that people can kind of put all their stuff out there, and you got to be honest, right?
Garbage in, garbage out.
Because you can lie to yourself all the time, all that you want, but
But it doesn't help you if you lie to yourself.
So when somebody fills all that stuff out, do you guys, how do you guys work with a client?
Yeah, so we put them in touch with one of our certified value builders. So we've licensed our system to roughly 900 advisors globally. These certified value builders have gone through our certification process. So there'll be someone in Seattle, there'll be someone in San Francisco. There's, and those are the people that really understand in their local markets how to apply our system to companies in their local markets. So we basically put business owners in touch with. So you go to valuebuilder.com, you complete the questionnaire, and then you get your report, and then we put you in touch with a certified value builder who kind of walks you through how to improve your value. And so that's basically the way it works.
So do you match, based on your certified value builder? Is it kind of like matchmaking? You match your value builder representative with the appropriate business, or are all of your consultants able to just do any type of businesses? Is there like a specialty like manufacturing or what have you?
Yeah, no, we have a lot of advisors that are more specifically aligned to an industry. So we have. So if we know we've got an advisor, for example, we have one, Carl Spear down in Florida, who does just optometry clinics. So if we get an optometry clinic, it's likely that we would connect, even though they may not be in the same physical market, we would connect them with Carl. But the first cut is usually location, because people want, this stuff's confidential, it's highly strategic, and so most of the time the business owner wants to look in the whites of the eyes of the advisor and kind of roll up sleeves and work together, and so it's helpful to be in the same city. So we generally would connect people by city.
That's great. No, that's great, you guys. Listeners, we're talking to John Warrillow. He's the author of the book Built to Sell and the founder of the Value Builder System. You can go and reach out and look up his information at www.valuebuildersystem.com, valuebuildersystem.com.
So, John, I got a question for you. What is your value builder score for your company?
Oh wow! We do that all the time. We eat our own dog food here. I think we're in the low 80s.
Okay.
We're in the low 80s for sure. There's a few things we could do better at, and we talk about it internally. We talk about, hey, this is going to be a hub and spoke problem. And what hub and spoke is, it's one of the drivers of company value. It means that if your business is too dependent on you personally, your business is not going to be very valuable in the marketplace. So if we're in a meeting internally and we're talking about an initiative that would require me personally to be involved, to write an email, to speak at a thing, someone will pipe up and say, yeah, that's going to really undermine our hub and spoke if we do it that way. Why don't we do it in a different way? Or
I like it.
Why don't we hold?
You're keeping yourselves in check. I like that, and we do the same. Here's the thing: as business owners and advisors, right? As advisors and experts in various fields that we're in, we still can learn, right? There's still things that we need to keep in check, and also learn from other people and other experts, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know about you, Aaron, but in Mayumi, but I'm not like I think there's a continuum. Like in an early stage business, the very early stages. I mean, you don't have any money, and you're doing it all. You can't afford to hire people to do the work, so you're just basically doing it all. But but if you're thinking about it right, over time the business grows. You create some cash, and instead of pulling that money out of the business, if you invest that into people and systems and technology to do some of the work, it starts to kind of build on itself. There is a bit of a domino effect. And at the end of the day, when businesses grow to a certain size, they can be structured so they're not reliant on their owner anymore. But it doesn't happen overnight. I think I'm very rare to hear of a startup that is running without the owner. It's much more likely that the early days are just, we call it the fog of war. Like, in the early days, it's just try to keep the lights on.
Well, I have a question, so as business owners and entrepreneurs, there is a specific type of personality. So how do you overcome, do you ever get resistance? Because I was reading your book, and what you asked as far as him, doing specific things, I don't want to ruin the book for everyone. Like, he just said, okay, I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to do one systemize it, one product. How do you overcome that? And how do your advisors overcome that?
I think that's a great question, because that is something that we deal with all the time when we're helping business owners. I mean, in the book, this guy's, just listening to Ted all the time is because he really respects him, obviously, because he's just like, he argues a little bit, but then he's like, okay, I'll do that, right? And he did everything. And how often does that happen?
Not real often.
In the real world of giving advice to other business owners? Because I always say they're business owners for a reason, because they don't want to be told what to do. So what's your opinion on that?
Yeah.
Or should we wait until the next?
Nope.
Okay, we got some time.
Answer
Good.
that. We
all
have
right.
a minute and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've done some psychographic research into the way business owners think, and what we've discovered is that they actually can be segmented into three profiles. Mountain climbers are motivated by growth, freedom fighters motivated by independence, and craftspeople motivated by mastery. And so I think one of the first things you've got to do is discern which of the three buckets the business owner is in, because the way you would approach them to convince them to take action and change something would be different.
Oh my gosh, I love that. We're going to have to elaborate more in the next segment on the three personality types. I love that you do that. Today we're talking with John Warrillow, the author of Built to Sell and the founder of the Value Builder System. His system teaches business owners how to dramatically increase the value of their business. You can reach him at valuebuildersystem.com. And at the Lifestyle Business Owner Show, you can follow us anytime, anywhere on Facebook and Instagram. I'm looking forward to finding out more on the next segment.
Time for a quick break, but we'll have more of the Lifestyle Business Owner Show right after this, here on AM 1580. The Answer. You're listening to the Lifestyle Business Owner Show with Aaron and Mayumi Moeller.
Welcome back to the Lifestyle Business Owner Show, where we talk about the street smarts of small business. And today we're talking with John Warrillow, the author of Built to Sell and the founder of the Value Builder System. His system teaches business owners how to dramatically increase the value of their business. And in the last segment, we talked about sometimes how business owners are resistant to change and advice and anything. But and then John was talking about, I wanted to make sure I did the three buckets. But John, why don't you let us know how you categorize the buyers into three buckets?
Yeah, so we did psychographic research and discovered that you can segment the small business market into one of three segments based on how they're motivated. So mountain climbers are motivated to grow, freedom fighters are motivated by independence, and craftspeople are motivated by mastery, meaning being known as the best at what they do. And so, going back to Aaron, your question about how do you overcome resistance when business owners, they intellectually, and many times they often know what they need to do, but are hesitant or resistant to do it. And I think it comes down to keying in on which of those three buckets that are in. So, for example, if you're trying to convince a mountain climber to go do something, it's all about their top line revenue, right? So, so it'd be like, you've got to hire this person because it's going to help you double your sales. If you got to fire this person because it's going to help you reach your goal to be a $10 million business. For freedom fighters, it's a different button you've got to push. Really, freedom fighters are motivated by independence. So for them, growing a very large business is actually a turnoff. They don't want to grow a very large business. They want to grow a business where it's independent of them and they call the shots. They control 100% of the equity. So if you were to say to a freedom fighter, for example, hey, you should really, scale up this business and bring on an outside investor, bring on an angel investor, or find a venture capitalist or whatever, they would recoil at that idea. And because for them, that would undermine their independence. So you've got to frame it in a different way. So that's how I would overcome the classic resistance of a business owner.
Yeah, I like that. I would say that, Mayumi and I, and the kind of our teachings are a lot about the freedom fighter. Is that what it is? Freedom fighter?
Yeah.
Because we're kind of teaching that independence. And I sent you my book. I don't know if you've gotten it yet, but first.
I haven't yet, but I'm waiting. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
No problem. In Canada, man, it's expensive to ship over there, dude.
I imagine.
He was talking about that.
But I'm gonna have to get another job just to pay for it. No, but in my book, like you had said, these startup businesses or most businesses, we say, when you buy a business, you got to put good 12 months into it, really getting it going and setting up the systems, and don't think that you're just going to be independent from this business right off the bat, right? So that's what we teach is really be, involved in the beginning time. But we like that independence factor, and you're right. And, I teach that, hey, you don't necessarily always have to have a $10 million business, right? I mean, it's hard for businesses to even get there a lot of times. And so I say you can have $1 million to $3 million business and then have multiples of those because it's kind of easy sometimes to get these small businesses to that level. And then it takes a whole other step, right, to get to maybe a 10 or $20 million company. So we're kind of in the middle a little bit because I do go through growth periods and stuff, but you're right. I would kind of cringe thinking, I got to give my company up to some investment company to build it to the next level, because then you start losing, a lot of those controls and a lot of the freedoms, because sometimes you're calling all the shots and the shots can be worked around your desire to have that freedom, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, when you go and take on outside investment, especially sophisticated outside investors like a private equity company or venture capital, for example, you're giving up enormous control in most cases. Like having a $3 million business generating 10 or 20% profit margins, I mean, in a quiet, sleepy niche that nobody cares about, I mean, that is incredible.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate in a lifestyle business. Answering to some, private equity guy in Connecticut is no fun. But I think you're absolutely right. Buying a business where in a relatively small niche where you can generate a couple $1 million in revenue and profitably do that because it's not an overly competitive area. I mean, I think that's just gold.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely like the niche businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, I find also that sometimes it has to be at least maybe $1 million company to really be a lifestyle business owner where you can step away a little bit more absentee or however you want to call it, right? Because I found, owning a lot of these different businesses that the ones that are under $1 million have been more difficult because you don't have the revenues and the profitability to be able to hire a manager to run your business. Do you find that as well?
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's definitely, it goes back to sort of the stage of the business, but I think there's definitely a stage where you're chief cook and bottle washer. I think that's one of the benefits of buying a business rather than starting one, though. I mean, starting it,
absolutely,
it can take a lot of time to get your first $1 million in revenue.
Yes.
But your second $1 million is infinitely easier.
Yes.
In terms of top line revenue.
But getting to that $5 million mark's hard. So I think it's hard from my experience. So you guys help people get to that level. So tell us a little bit about how you do that.
We do. Well, the first thing it comes down to is finding your monopoly control. Monopoly control is where you've got something you do better than anybody else. It comes down to, you've heard Warren Buffett talk about this idea of investing in businesses with a deep and wide competitive moat. When a buyer buys a company, they're going to make a buy or build decision, right? So they're going to say, do we build what they've created and just compete with them, or do we buy the business? And the more likely, the tougher it would be to compete with you because you've got some big moat around your business, you've got some competitive differentiation, the more likely they're going to buy it. So one of the first things to do to improve your value is to find something your company can do better than anybody else, and really start to winnow away some of the things that you're really just offering a commodity, you're not really well differentiated again, and pour all of your resources, both time and money, into that one thing. I think the second piece is really creating recurring revenue. Recurring revenue is this sort of magic secret sauce that not only makes your business more fun to run, more reliable and more predictable, but it makes it just tremendously more valuable. Like an apples to apples comparison of a company with recurring revenue and one without, like it's not uncommon to see it 2 or 3x times more valuable. Security companies, for example, today are trading for about 75 cents for every dollar of revenue for installation of security systems, the home and office security systems. They're trading at about $3 for every dollar of monitoring revenue or recurring revenue. So dollars to dollar, you're seeing 2, 3, 4 times more value in recurring revenue. So again, I think that's the second step. Once you figure out your monopoly control, you've got to find a way to create recurring revenue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, recurring revenue is I mean, think about just think about business brokers, right? That you work with a lot of business brokers out there. They really don't have a lot of recurring revenue, right? It's the deal after the deal after the deal, and that's one. I've been a business broker for 17 years, and it's like that's one reason I don't necessarily love it like some of my other companies, because these companies can run a lot easier, and I'm not always trying to find that next deal to sell, right? So there's some businesses that are a little harder to find that, but I truly believe that you could turn any business into a model like that. Wouldn't you agree?
I do. And for people who are skeptical, I often tell them the story of H. Bloom. I don't know. Do you know this story, guys?
No, I've never heard it.
So H. Bloom's this crazy company. They were in the business of selling flowers. And if you know anything about flowers, it's a terrible business model, right? So
I always tell people, that's my example. I say when you don't want to buy, but don't buy your hobby. Don't buy because you love flowers. You buy a flower shop.
Yeah.
They're never very good businesses. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh, is that right?
I always use that.
There you go. Well, you know the deal. So Mother's Day and Valentine's Day drive 30% of the revenue. So 363 days of the year, you're trying to find customers. How do you do that? Well, you've got to have a very expensive real estate because you've got to intercept them, because you've got to create demand. It's very unpredictable. And what's worse, the flowers die on the vine, right? So the moment the flower is cut by the farmer, it's dying.
Yes.
And a typical flower store throws out 60% of its inventory. So long time, two guys, Sanyu Panda and Brian Burkhart, and they say, we're going to flip this model on its head. We're going to sell flowers on a recurring basis. We're going to sell them to spas and hotels that want fresh flowers on the reception table. They sell a subscription to flowers. Today, the average transaction in an American flower store is $29. The average H. Bloom subscriber will spend $4,500 with H. Bloom across one transaction.
Wow.
And they buy over the life of their subscription more than $4,500 worth of flowers. So, I mean, you think about it. Which business would you rather run? And would you ever thought that a flower store could be?
Well, I love it, and I love the story, because I mean, this really goes down to the conversation I have with people when we're giving them that advice on, hey, okay, so here's what you need to do. And they're like, well, I can't do that in my area or my business or, whatever, right? And you're like, well, there's somebody else that's doing it and they're successful doing it. So why are you telling me that, that resistance part, right? It's that's a great story, actually, because you could take something like a flower business that nobody would ever even think of that. But that's what your book really brought to light for me, reading that book, because it was like, oh, he took a advertising agency that would usually, that you're like, I'm doing everything, websites, SEO, everything, right? And I'm in that field, just so you know. I have a digital marketing company too, so I kind of I could relate even more so, and then taking it into selling logos. Yeah, I mean, a product. Right. I mean, how cool is that? So that's really almost like the same type of idea in a way. You're simplifying something.
Absolutely. A buddy of mine sent me an email today about a toothbrush subscription. So this is a subscription company that is selling basically the heads of toothbrushes, of electronic toothbrushes. Every 3 months, they send you a new. It's $5 a month. And it's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
Companies.
They have the Shaving Club subscription.
I got an idea,
well.
John. Someone's going to probably steal this from us, but what about a toothpick company with different flavors of toothpicks?
Oh gosh,
there
you know
go, subscription.
You're showing your age, and I'm going to have to cut you off right here. Thank you, John, so much for being on our show today. If you want to get more information and learn about the Value Builder System, go to valuebuildersystem.com. And he is the author of Built to Sell and the founder of the Value Builder System. Go buy Built to Sell. It's a phenomenal book. Here at the Lifestyle Business Owner Academy, we're not rendering financial or legal advice. We're not telling you what you should or shouldn't do with your money or your business. We're simply telling you what we do personally. When we come back, we're going to get into our LBO segment. This is where you'll get an opportunity to know about the street smarts of small business, how to buy a business, grow profits, and make it run without you. If you've missed any of our show, make sure you go to lboradio.com. You can listen to it anytime, anywhere, any of our shows, previous shows, and follow us on Facebook and IG.
We'll be back with more of the Lifestyle Business Owner Show after this brief break here on AM 1580, The Answer.